Hey everyone! Today on Excel for Beginners, we'll be looking at some functions. We'll be looking at the AND, the OR, the IF, the nested if, and the IFs function. So let's start with the IF function. This decide between two options based on one condition. So for example, I want to check if my score in cell B4 is above 60. That's in cell C2. If it's above 60, then it's a pass. If it's not above 60, then I use the word fail. So I want to click on my SAT function beside the formula bar, and I click if and I click OK, and my function argument box appears. My logical text is B4 greater than sign on my keyboard, and I click on C2. If it's true, then I use the word pass. If it's not true, then I use the word fail. And I click OK to see what my result will be. It shows pass. If I use another number, let's say if I don't want to use 65, I use 70, it's still gonna show pass because I said if my score is greater than 60. But if I use like 55 less than 60, it's gonna show fail because I said if not, then fail. I can also use the equal sign to do this formula, and it's still gonna give me the same results. I'm going to arrive at the same results. The if open parenthesis, my logical test is my score on B4 and I is greater than C2 because I reference C2, and comma. If it's true, pass. If it's not true, fail. Make sure you use the quotation mark if you're writing in text. Then close parenthesis. Then it shows me the same results. So we'll be talking about the AND function in the IF function. The AND function in the IF function, this check if multiple conditions are all true. I want to check if my score in maths and English are above 60. Both of them have to be above 60 if it's gonna be true. So let's find out. I'm going to click on my SAT function beside my formula bar, and my SAT function box appears. I'm going to click on the if function. So my argument box appears. Now I'm typing my AND function in the logical test. Open parenthesis, I click on D4 greater than sign 60, that is on D2, comma D5 greater than sign on my keyboard, D2, close parenthesis. If both are true, then I'm going to use the word pass. If both are not true or one of them is not true, then it happens that it's going to be fail. And I click OK. And let's see the result. Wow. So the English didn't meet the condition. The English is less than 60. If I change it to 64, it shows pass because both of them are true. But if I change it back to 50, it shows fail because one of them is not true. So let's look at the OR function. This checks if at least one multiple condition is true. So it's either the math score is greater than 60 or the English score is greater than 60. One of them must be greater than 60 for it to be true. If none of them is greater than 60, then it's false, which is fail. So let's go to my SAT function. Beside the formula bar, I click on if because I'm using the AND in the logical test. I'm using the AND in the if function. So I type my AND, open parenthesis, I click D4, which is the math score, greater than 60, comma, D5, which is the English score, greater than 60. If true, I type my pass. If false, I use fail and I click OK. See, one of them met the condition, which is the mass is greater than 60. That is why it's pass. So if I say the mass is less than 60, I use like a 50 something. Like you can see, it will show fail because none of them met the condition. If I change it back to above 60, it shows pass. So this is how you can use the OR function. So the nested if lets you check multiple conditions in sequence. If you're going to use more than one condition, you're going to require more than one if function. If you're using two or more conditions, you're going to require two or more if function. That is why it's called the nested if function. So I'm going to use my math score for this example. So we start with the equals to sign and the if function, open parenthesis. So by open parenthesis, I use my math score, which is in cell D4. If it is greater than 65, then I'm going to grade it a B. Remember to use a quotation mark because it's a text, comma, then I'm going to require another if function because another condition. Then I'm going to say if my math score is greater than, okay, the first one, if it's greater than or equals to 65, then it's a B. Then the next condition is my math score is greater than or equals to 50, then it's a C. Then a comma, then I use another if function, open parenthesis. If my math score, which is in cell D4, if it is greater than or equals to 40, then is a D. Close parenthesis, close parenthesis, close parenthesis. Please note the number of parentheses you open, the number of parentheses you will close. My score is C because it falls within the condition of C. Because I said if it is greater than or equals to 50, then it's C. If I should change my score to 65, then it's going to change to B because this is greater than or equals to 65. If I change it to 40, then it's going to fall under the condition of D because it's greater than or equals to 40. So I can also just do the same thing with the English, but I will just use my F4 key to freeze the column and release the row. So if I release the row, that means if I should drag it down, then it's going to change. So I use my F4 key for the D4 so that it can change to D5. It can change to D5, that is column D, row 5. So that is why I use the F4 key to freeze the column and release the row. So now let's talk about the ifs function, that is the if with an S. So this is way simpler to write multiple if condition. So you don't need to use multiple if when writing this condition. So let's go. We are going to use a start function key beside the formula bar, and I'm going to click on my ifs and click OK. So my logical test 1 is D4 greater than or equals to 65, then is a B. If D4 is greater than, okay, I always forget the equals to. If D4 is greater than or equals to 50, then is a C. Always use the quotation mark for the text. C is a text, so I use my quotation mark. If D4 is greater than or equals to 40, then is a D. If you notice, I'm just writing out my conditions. I am not using the nested if. And I click OK, and this is my answer. My grade changes. It was 40, so that's why my grade was D, and now it is 60, and that's why it changed again. So this, you can see on the formula bar, there are no ifs. It is just the conditions. I use the ifs is covering up for as multiple condition as you want. So that I can also do the same for the English score. I use the F4 key and I do the same for the English score, and you can see my English score is 50, so my grade is C. So this is it for now about my if function, the and, the or, the nested if, and my ifs function. So stay tuned for more.